I will. That's totally fine. Do your thing. Yep. All right. Love the pronoun thing. President Trump is banning pronouns. That is just, it's got to be done. Not sure I'd say it's a priority, but it's got to be done. So let's deal with what we have in front of us. Okay. We're live in 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Yep. Ready to go. Governor Mckee throws down the gauntlet. Yep. I think it's irresponsible. I don't think it should be allowed. Nope. I don't think it should be allowed. I think you should be stopped. Now, obviously the rain impacts Road Patrol Live, but let's see what it's like later on. But it does look like it's going to be consistent rain. Yep. How about Governor McKee's going to try to block the ice raids? Wow. On what authority? Ridiculous. Yep. I think it's ridiculous. I do. Yep. All right, we are standing by, and we are live in 2 minutes. 2 minutes as Mckee goes to try to block ice raids. Screaming. He wanted to know about Newport. He has no business knowing about Newport. None. All right, we are live in 2 minutes. 2 minutes out. The Friday show. Let me just check the weather forecast. Oh. No, rain through the night. Okay. It's cloudy at the moment, but rain. Yes. All right, we're live in 2 minutes. What does that mean for later? I don't know. But it is getting rid of a lot of the snow, so that's good. Getting rid of a lot of the snow and ice. Nope, it's going to rain all night. Okay. But tomorrow looks nice. Right? Yes. Tomorrow looks fine. So we may be rained out. All right, we are standing by. Yep. The pronoun thing is hilarious. All right, we are waiting for Woonsocket. I don't understand that at all. So we don't think the threat is credible, but we're going to cancel classes for the rest of the day. What message does that send? We know what message that sends. And we are live. Folks, good afternoon. 106, excuse me, on this rainy Friday. This is right here, mister. This is the real news at 1. And as you may have just heard, let me break it down. So right now, we are live on the radio. Hello, AM 1380, 99.9 FM. Now, you can also listen. It's true. You can listen at the website, which is dpetro.com, which we have, again, the only local media outlet that has video of ICE in action in Providence, in our state. No one has any video of they were in Newport. No one has any video that they were in Cranston. No one, I think there is some video showing them like where they stage and then they go out like that, but they don't have any of them actually getting someone into custody. But that is at the website, dpetro.com. Now, I want to just start off the real news that I don't understand, quite frankly, the statement put out by the Woonsocket School Department, Woonsocket Schools, which is essentially saying they're canceling classes. Woonsocket Education Department. A threatening message was sent to the high school and both middle schools. So the Woonsocket Education Department conducted investigation, credibility of the threat. We don't believe it's credible. But to err on the side of caution, we're dismissing all students early today. While the elementary school did not receive a message, we're dismissing them. And then they delay the different times that everyone's getting out. Does that make sense to anyone? We know the threat isn't real, but we're going to cancel classes. All when you do this, I mean, this is Pavlov's story. All it does is then encourage the messages. We know it's not credible, but we're still going to cancel classes. So whoever's behind it, now a lot of times, keep in mind, a lot of times these are whoever they are. It's a form of terrorism, actually, but a lot of times they're not even in this country. And they do this just to cause havoc. But let's just say it was local. You're sending a message to whoever's behind it that they were successful. And that's one way to disrupt the school day. What I don't understand, now again, obviously I'm not a parent in Woonsocket, and I don't have a child in the school, so no dog in the fight, but like, what are you talking about? No wonder public school enrollment is way down and on the decline. And it shouldn't be a mystery. Like, what is this? Is the threat credible? No. Well, then why are we canceling school? Out of an abundance of caution. Like, what are you talking about? Caution of what? Nothing happened. It's not credible. This is going on different places. I didn't even cover it. It happened at Tolman and Warwick the other day. You know, someone sent me a note. Tolman's on lockdown. Well, that's the procedure they go through. If one, knucklehead, some student, whatever phrase you want to use, dumbbell, idiot, punk, whatever term you want to use, but if one kid makes mention of doing any type of damage to school, boom, then they go on into protocol, and then it's on lockdown. And I frankly, I don't understand the whole thing. And I was trying to think back. I mean, I remember in, and I'll just go to like St. Paul's School with the nuns we had and so forth. There would be, yeah, that's right. What it would be, you'd do a fire drill, but I don't recall ever, whoever named someone, a certain student made a threat. As a result of that, we're going to cancel classes for today. No, guess what? All teachers, we're going to start the weekend early. So everyone early dismissal on a Friday. Again, it counts as a school day. It's after. I don't understand. I don't understand the purpose of it. If it's not a credible threat, then what are we talking about? Why are you disrupting the day so parents, everybody gets thrown off? I don't understand the judgment and whoever made that decision. I think it's the wrong decision. I think the message should be, we check it out. It's not credible. So boom, everything stays accordingly. All right, folks, but check it out. Our website, dpetro.com, brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Folks, remember, lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. And they also have the market at Coesit. They're waiting for you at the Coesit Inn. Now, I want to stay on schedule here on this Friday. Let me just go through. Remember, if you are in the market, you use propane. Propane Plus Call them today for all your propane needs. In Rhode Island, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359. Propane Plus, heating and cooling, residential or commercial. You can depend on Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4209, or go online. Very user-friendly website. It's propaneplus.com. You just put in the zip code, Propane Plus. Now, I want to touch on, I believe, and it's readily apparent to me, folks, and again, I don't think I'm going to break any news here, and this goes for both Rhode Island and Massachusetts. It is what it is. Our part of the country where we live, number one, the media tends to be, regardless where you are, the media, they tend to be liberal bent, right? Liberal, progressive are their ideals. I saw it up close. I mean, I've seen different examples of it. Then there are times you just can't ignore it. If we look at some people that used to write for the Providence Journal, there's two guys. I won't name them. There's no need to. I don't want to give them publicity. But there were two writers, and now that they're no longer with the Journal, they are to the left of Bernie Sanders. There is far left progressive, if not even socialist, communist, that you can get. And at one time, they were, quote, reporters for the Providence Journal. So we know in Rhode Island and Mass, in Connecticut, but there's definitely a left-leaning narrative. It's like that nationwide. Of course, it's like that in a blue state. So they're not sure how to cover this business about ICE. And what are they trying to do? They're going after targeted individuals who are not supposed to be in the country. And it's very, very targeted. I understand in Newport, they went after one person. It's my understanding they successfully got that one person. The community, by the way, should be saying good, right? If there is some kind of an immigration situation, plus they broke the law, plus they're not supposed to be here, good, get rid of them. Instead, rumors start to fly that they were at, ICE was also at the schools. They were at the high school, and all lies. And it's going on locally as well. But there's two people that I believe their actions can't be ignored. And one is Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee. I would like him to explain, how does he, this is what's going on. How do you instruct the state police do not cooperate with ICE? How is that possible? I think he's violating the law by doing that. He's been doing it for a while. It doesn't get coverage. The local media, they don't talk about it. Instead, the local media focuses on the trauma that some of these communities are going through. Someone said, the market where they took that person out of, it's dead the next day. Well, as we're seeing on road patrol, right now, it's an odd time. You're getting a sense of just how many illegals are in this area. But Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee, to me, he doesn't have the right. He is abusing his power. Well, I instructed our state police not to cooperate. He's not upholding the law. What other agencies is he going to abuse and instruct them not to follow? I don't think he has the right to do that. And then we have the Lieutenant Governor, Sabina Matos. Now, I want to clarify something. Right now, it doesn't matter. If you live in Massachusetts, you are a resident of Massachusetts. Now, Florida, in order to claim a residency in Florida, you have a lot of people that do 6 months and a day, and that's all it takes, and you are considered a resident of the state of Florida, and people do that for tax purposes. So wherever they are, they claim they live in Florida, and there are people, by the way, that live there 6 months and a day, and then you are a resident of the state of Florida. So you have people, by the way, that live in Rhode Island, but they claim Florida as their residence. 6 months in a day. So then they have I remember years ago, you see the Florida license plates on cars up here, and they did that by design for tax purposes. But Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos has taken it to another level. So you have someone is a resident of Massachusetts, someone's a resident of Rhode Island, maybe someone is a resident of the state of Florida. But you have state residents. However, what do they all have in common? They're American citizens. So now you have the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Rhode Island, Sabina Matos, chosen by McKee, and she's come up with a new term for people. And by the way, she's not alone with this. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu refers to residents of Boston, but Matos takes it to a new level and invents a new term that I am unfamiliar with. Here we go.
I consider they're citizens of the state of Rhode Island as they live in the state of Rhode Island, yes. I consider they're citizens of the state of Rhode Island as they live in the state of Rhode Island, yes.
Now, just to set the frame on this, I was the one questioning her. I was. Notice. And no one else did a follow-up. And the rest of the media, they leave the story alone. I was trying to say, so if they're living here and they were counted in the census, which is under investigation, I said, how? So, and let me just, I'll cut to the chase. In her mind, now, by the way, this is wrong. She's the lieutenant governor, handpicked by McKee and then voted by the people of the state. Even though she lost day of voting, and Aaron Gukian actually won day of voting, he should be the lieutenant governor. But Matos had ballots stuffed along with Magaziner and McKee. But here's basically her argument. Lieutenant, it is frightening that she's the lieutenant governor of the state. But her argument is that you land at TF Green Airport from Guatemala. They have direct flights to Guatemala or whatever. You land there. You come off the plane. You're in the terminal. You see a P. Bruins hat. You put it on. Guess what? According to her, Lieutenant Governor Matt, you are now a Rhode Island citizen. Citizen. That's what she's saying. If you live here, you are a Rhode Island citizen. Folks, it doesn't exist. There's no such thing. By the way, they're not even a resident of the state. They're not a resident. You go on vacation somewhere. You're not a resident there. You just happen to be someone who's vacationing there. You go to Cancun. Welcome. You're now a resident of Mexico. You'd say, no, I'm not. I'm just a tourist who's visiting. That's all they are.
I consider they're citizens of the state of Rhode Island as they live in the state of Rhode Island.
No, they're not citizens of the state of Rhode Island.
I consider they're citizens of the state of Rhode Island as they live in the state of Rhode Island.
No, you're either an American citizen.
I consider they're citizens of the state of Rhode Island as they live in the state of
No,
Rhode Island.
a Rhode Island resident.
I consider they're citizens of the state of Rhode Island as they live in the state of Rhode Island.
Yeah, except that doesn't exist, which she's making up. Yeah, they live here. They live here. So that makes them a Rhode Island citizen. Notice she throws the word citizen in. So, folks, her and McKee, between, the driving privileges that, as we have talked about and others have, and Patricia Morgan, to her credit, pointed out, it's not an accident that they look exactly like a driver's license, because they're trying to make the claim, oh, no, they're citizens. They're citizens. So Matos, oh, yeah, no, they're citizens. I have interviewed many of these people, and you know what they'll tell you? Oh, I came here legally. What they fail to say is they came here on a travel visa, and the visa was maybe for 3 months, maybe 6 months, and then they stayed. They were supposed to leave. They stayed. But they'll tell you, oh, I came here legally. Again, I get not everyone's sneaking over the border. Maybe they flew in to Rhode Island or Logan or TF Green. But what they failed to mention is they weren't supposed to stay. And now they're here. And then Mckee and Matos and all the Providence reps. Then they say, well, they're going through the paperwork, but there is no paperwork. They weren't even supposed to be here in the first place. And as I've talked about in the past, if you sneak into Fenway Park, you're in there now. You saw a gate open, you went in, and then you're just in the crowd, but you don't have a ticket. You don't have a ticket. So you try to avoid any usher that's asking for a ticket. But that would be someone that once they're in, and then the usher says, may I see your ticket inside Fenway Park? And the person says, well, I'm making arrangements now to get a ticket. Yeah, that's not how it works. You're supposed to purchase the ticket before you entered the park. So what would they do many times? All right, well, you have to leave. And then if you want to purchase a ticket, then you can come back in. Well, I want to stay and purchase the ticket. Yeah, except it doesn't work that way. Well, they had the gate open. I saw the gate open, and so I just came in. All right, well, maybe the gate was broken. Maybe something happened and the gate was unattended. It didn't mean that you were okay to come in. So many of them. Oh, we're here. We're trying to go through everything. By the way, the guy, the attorney who had his office raided, I think that was part of it. He would tell these people, oh, we can figure something out. You're already here. You don't have to leave. We'll figure something out. But folks, we have a problem with Mckee and Matos. And right now, ICE is trying to add more staff, but they're depending a lot on federal agents, FBI, Homeland Security, and they're doing as they're told. Right now, that's where they need the manpower. As I have stated, and I haven't heard anyone else mention this, I don't believe we've had a lot of ICE agents in the area. I think maybe one or two, but you've had some ICE agents doing operations, and they're directing other federal agents who most of them that I have seen are from Homeland Security. Now, again, they're still a federal agent, and some are FBI. They're not rogue, but they're not Providence police. They're not state police. But I would argue, Governor McKee, you don't have the right. He doesn't possess the power, in my mind, to instruct the state police. Do not cooperate with them. And if they contact you, I'm your first phone call. I would, as I had mentioned, I think he's going way above and beyond what his power is. And I don't think he should be allowed to do that. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by Kids Club on the Pike. Now, remember, birthday parties. They have before and after school programs, preschool programs. Kids Club on the Pike. It's right on the Cranston-Johnston line, located on Plainfield Pike. Kids Club on the Pike. Now, they are available. Let's just say you're going to have a birthday party for a child or grandchild. Maybe you available for the entire facility, if that's what you need. For birthday parties, other events, a team get together. They also do before and after school care, providing transportation before and after care for school-age children ages 5 through 12. Preschool, half and full day programs, preschool children 3 to 5. Folks, Kids Club on the Pike. It's safe, it's clean, and it's perfect for your child or grandchild. Kids Club on the Pike. Contact them. Kristen, they do a great job. 401 443 5336, Kids Club on the Pike. Well, folks, good afternoon. President Trump has announced all federal workers have to remove your pronouns by close of business off of, you have the automatic signature on an email. Again, I don't think it's the most pressing thing. I'm kind of entertained by it. Everything doesn't have to be the most important thing, by the way. But I do kind of find that a little comical. Now, I also want to mention, and you talk about, or I do, when we talk about media bias, and there's a story that NBC 10, the team you can't trust, that They did a story. Woonsocket schools dismiss early Friday. Precaution. What are you talking about? It wasn't real. Precaution response to a threatening message. Yeah, but if it's not credible, I mean, what are we talking about then? Either the threat is credible or it's not credible. That's like, and other people have said similar of someone who, we think she's kind of pregnant. She's kind of pregnant. No, you either are or you're not. Much like you're either a citizen or you're not a citizen. But I want to where's the story that I'm looking for? Hold on, here it is. Person detained in immigration operation. People are nervous in Newport. Good. What's the bad news? Hold on. Channel 10 did something on education, but they left something out. All right, I'll find it. And it's important to note though, and it shouldn't be ignored. And we'll talk about it Monday with Justin Katz when we do. Here we go. Fewer students are sitting in Rhode Island classrooms. Public school enrollment continues to decline statewide. So they go through some of the numbers. Number one, I'm not knocking them for that. Dropped in 27 districts. Biggest decline. Bristol Warren. What happened to that? Hold on. Here we go. Bristol Warren area, blah, blah, blah. So they go through where the levels are, and there's less people. They don't bring up the whole, the woke ideology, all the transgender stuff that they try to push kids on. NBC 10 discovered many of the students leaving or choosing another option, charter schools. Enrollment at every charter school in the state increased. One had 14% jump in student. Another one, Rise Prep, 33% enrollment increase. Last year, there were 11,000 applications for 2,500 seats. So, but listen to Channel 10 now. This is them going through the story now, and they're talking about charter schools. Charter schools saw an uptick in enrollment during the pandemic. Trend hasn't changed. And charter schools are considered public schools funded by taxpayer dollar, operate differently. Instead of a school board and district, they're run by a board of community members, pull students from various districts. Sometimes they have a specific mission. Charter school enrollment is selected by lottery. About 80% of students who apply do not get seats immediately. When the demand for charter schools is up, an increase doesn't come without controversy. When they switch, the funding goes with them. My point is, at no point do they mention that the biggest advantage the charter schools have is they're not run and controlled by the teachers union. That's why they can go to school more. That's why they can have longer days. That's why teachers then get fired. If you're at a charter school, they may say, hey, listen, we're going to start early. We're going to start tomorrow at 7:30 and we're going till 4:30. And everyone says, okay, you can't do that. If someone is not performing in a charter school, they fire the teacher. If they feel for whatever reason they need to increase the number of days or whatever, they do that. The focus is on learning. It's child student centric focus. In the public schools, forget about it. Bad teacher, can't get rid of him. Principal wants to hire someone, got to have the union pick it. It's absurd, but it shouldn't be lost on people that Channel 10 doesn't even mention it in their I-Team report. How is that possible? That is the answer. Because in a charter school, the teachers have to stay in line and you have to be flexible. And it's not controlled by the union. So you have a traditional public school and then you have a charter school. every student and their parent want to send the child to the charter school. Why would that be? Because it's not controlled by the teachers union. But it shouldn't be lost on people that it's not even mentioned or referred to in the Channel 12 story. Why is that? You would almost think that they don't want any pushback from the local teachers unions. Woonsocket schools dismiss early due to non-credible threat. Does that make sense to anyone? Does that make sense to anyone? It's not a credible threat, but we're still going to dismiss everyone. And by the way, Channel 12 has a story. I don't know why I'm having trouble finding these stories. Channel 12 has a story that they did regarding, here it is. Yep. Oh, it was actually in the Boston Globe. Okay. Rhode Island students posted lower math and reading scores than before the pandemic. The latest sign that billions in extra federal funding sent to states to assist with learning has not moved the needle. How about that? How did New England students fare in the latest nation's report card? Not good. Not good is the real answer to that, as a matter of fact. No, it's but it's again, what was that all about? What were the union members, Randy Weingart and the locals? It was all about money. It was all about there's all this money flying around. You're giving out all this COVID relief money to businesses. We want our cut. Folks, this portion of the real news is brought to you by Watson Materials. Remember, largest selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island is Watson Materials. Call them today, 401-885-0600. Request a quote. Call Sean at Watson Materials, 401-885-0600. Remember, landscape lighting, pavers, retaining walls, natural stone, cobblestone, decorative stone. Watson Materials. The complete selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island is Watson Materials. Now, I also want to mention, folks, yesterday, I haven't talked a lot about it, but yesterday was the culmination. I was in court yesterday afternoon. Mark Perkins, who is sitting right now at the ACI on murder one charges with the death of Charlotte Lester, he was dragged into court in his shackles, and he pled no contest to attacking me with the lawnmower. So it was a long process to go through. You never know how these things are gonna pan out. But in the end, he yesterday, and the biggest one, and it was surreal to be sitting there a little bit as they're going through the various charges. And I do want to thank the Attorney General's office. They had their top team in there, Mr. Corrigan, and also Steve Dambrook. Those are the two top prosecutors the AG office has. I believe they're also handling the Charlotte Lester murder case, and so therefore they're handling Perkins. But I want to thank the Warwick Police. I want to thank the Attorney General's office. It was he pled no contest, and it saves me. Otherwise, there was supposed to be a trial, and it was going to start Monday. It was going to be very time consuming, and then you have to sit inside the courthouse. And instead, we're going to be in Coventry because they're having the press conference on the human remains found. But the biggest thing yesterday was Perkins stood there, and the judge read through and said, I just want to make sure we're clear on this. You're pleading guilty to felony assault with the running lawnmower. And he said, yes, Your Honor. So where he pled no contest, no low to country. So that came to a conclusion. And then the big story then Monday will be he'll be back in court with a bail hearing regarding the Charlotte Lester case. But the Perkins thing now, I am glad it's now that part of it is past, and now we'll just focus on the Charlotte Lester case. Folks, I want to remind you, and I did receive an email from Carol, who has a problem. They have a problem with their heating situation. Said, I heard you mention someone that could fix our furnace. Would you be so kind as to refer that to me? Yes, Carol, contact Modern Mechanical. Contact Richard, Modern Mechanical. Boiler repair and maintenance, furnace repair and maintenance, heater repair and maintenance. Modern Mechanical. Call them today, 401 441 5442. 401 441 5442. Modern Mechanical. Hey, listen, who knows what the next 2 months are going to be like? Contact Modern Mechanical, boiler repair and maintenance, boiler installation, by the way, furnace installation, furnace repair and maintenance, heater repair and maintenance, and water heater installation. It's Modern Mechanical. Look for them on Facebook or call them 401 441 5442. So, yes, I am actually, I'm glad that is, the whole orange ski mask and coming after me, and we were live streaming. I'm still out the money for the equipment that he destroyed, but I think we'll start to get that eventually. Here's a headline. Guatemala national sentenced to Rhode Island based multi-state crime ring. Marvin Echato Morales de Paz of Cranston. Here we go. A Guatemalan national who was previously deported twice was sentenced Friday to 30 months federal prison for his role in Rhode Island-based multi-state crime ring that stole $280,000 worth of merchandise from national chain retailers. We were at that raid of Cranston. Convicted conspiracy, commit instate stolen property, illegal reentry, most consistent member of the ring, high-end construction equipment, building supplies. Remember we were at the raid with all the Home Depot stuff? The ring I remember it, was involved 35 documented thefts in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Stole more than almost $300,000 worth of merchandise. Tens of thousands was recovered from his residence. He was arrested April 11, 2024. We were first and only one on the scene. I remember that in Cranston. Yep. Then he'll be subjected to 1-year supervised release, then turned over to immigration to be deported. Governor Mckee, of course, trying to stop him from being deported. As Sabina Matos says, I consider him a Rhode Island citizen. No, he's not a Rhode Island, but he lives in Cranston. He was living in Cranston. That's true. He was living in Cranston, but he had been deported twice. He was in the country illegally. Matos, he is not a Rhode Island citizen, Lieutenant Governor Matos. There's no such thing as a Rhode Island citizen. You're either a Rhode Island resident or you're an American citizen, or he is a citizen. He's a citizen of Guatemala. He's not a Rhode Island citizen. So the lieutenant governor has got to stop defending him on this.
I consider them citizens of the state of Rhode Island.
He is not a citizen of the state of Rhode Island, Lieutenant Governor Matos.
I consider them citizens of the state of Rhode Island.
No, he's not. He was deported.
I consider them citizens of the state of Rhode Island if they live in the state of Rhode Island.
That doesn't, no, he's not a citizen of the state of Rhode Island. He's a citizen of Guatemala who illegally came into Rhode Island. I don't care how many times she says this. Boston Globe. How do New England students fare on the latest Nation's report test card? Not necessarily a good sign. New England states are right in line, average math and reading. Nationwide, scores were stagnant, like much of the rest of the country. Rhode Island students posted lower math and reading scores than before the pandemic. Yeah, that's because where did the money from the pandemic go? Governor McKee gave it out as bonuses to the teachers. You did a fantastic job when you were on Zoom from your kitchen. What a fantastic. How about, remember Gina Raimondo? Rhode Island students are performing at the highest level. All, none of it true. None of it true. None of it. Folks, right now at 142, this portion of our program. Now, maybe you have been thinking of having something done at your home or business. I want to remind you and tell you about Arch Design and Builders. Ed and Roxanne, they are amazing. Family owned and operated. What a duo they are. You're going to notice the Arch difference. Arch Design Builders. Now, they specialize residential design. So maybe it is for a kitchen, maybe it's for a bathroom, maybe it's for your basement, maybe it's for a deck, maybe it's a special project. Arch Design, ARCH, Arch Design Builders. You can call them at 401 207 4124. 401 207 4124. Arch Design Builders. Whether it's for your home, whether it's for your workplace, you're going to love dealing with them and it's going to come out fantastic. Arch Design Builders, 401 218 9707. Again, I share their Facebook page. Now, for Road Patrol Live, yes, we will be active this weekend. When's the next ice raid? I don't know. I'll admit, I was thrown that they were doing them last weekend. Last weekend they were in the city of Providence. Now, it could excuse me, it could have been they wanted to go across all sanctuary states and make their presence felt. That's possible. That's possible. We don't know that. Or it could be, again, it's tactical. They know who they're looking for. They obviously have intel and learn where they are, and then they, get in motion and go after them. So when is it going to happen again? As I have stated, I'll tell you what I also think is just, and no, you don't hear anyone talking about this. By the way, folks, with Road Patrol, yes, we're going to be active tonight. Now, I don't know if it's pouring rain, very, very difficult to do Road Patrol. However, it is Wanathon, which means our final day of the month, all stars are doubled with this wonderful couple. They're anonymous donors. So they match all stars on the final day of the month. So just keep that in mind, whether right now or later tonight. But I want to remind you about JD's Lawn Care and Tree Service. If you need some trees trimmed, call them today, 401 441 0154 for JD's Lawn Care. They're another one. I share their Facebook page, 401 441 0154. But I'll also, I wanted to mention, and I'll say it because I don't hear anyone else even broaching the subject, but this business right now, our local police and then the state police, they step aside and ICE is going into the different communities, whether it's in Cranston or whether it's in Providence or Newport. These are things, to me, our local police should be doing. Well, folks, on this Friday, and she's a good sport, let's bring her on, the Queen of Health. We want to say good afternoon to our friend Marie at It's My Health 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Good afternoon, Marie.
Hi, John. It's good to be able to hear the audio today.
There we go, and we can hear you. Marie, it's all yours. Take it away.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I thought I would just talk about digestion a little bit today because so many people have digestive issues. So there are products that can help. Most people have heard of probiotics, so good bacteria to put into the gut. but then also fiber to help feed those good bacteria that are already there or that you're adding into the gut. So good fiber, I'm not so big on the whole Metamucil, that kind of thing, the chemicals that they put in some of those products, just want to stay away from. So things nice and simple. We have liquid, nice fiber that's just made from flax, pea, and hemp. Easy to add to things. Drink plenty of water, of course, when you're adding fiber. Good probiotics. So if you eat things like sauerkraut, or you drink kombucha, or kefir, or you eat kimchi, those things are fermented foods. This particular probiotic from Dr. O'Hara is a fermented food. So your body knows what to do with it because it's a fermented food. And then Barbara Watson, is the guru of the gut, and she makes a whole line of easy probiotics to take one a day. Also, to think about enzymes, especially as we get older, our bodies don't make as many enzymes, so that's harder to break the food down. And we eat a lot of cooked food, so the enzymes in the foods, in the plants, are broken down and they're not as good. When we eat raw foods, we get more of the enzymes to help. So it's good to have a mix of cooked and raw foods. And then this really nice local company, Jamu, it's a nice powder that you can make a nice drink. It's like a chai kind of thing. No caffeine at all. It's really tasty. And you can put it into hot chocolate. You can mix it into vegetables or into rice, adds a nice flavor, but very, very soothing for the gut with the ginger and the turmeric in it and cardamom. There's a whole bunch of herbs in it that have been developed. Really, really nice product. So just thinking about the digestive system and things we can do to help it move along.
Marie, you're amazing, because people with digestive problems, and there's a lot of people, and as they get older and they maybe adapt into their body, it really hampers quality of life if people are having digestive problems.
Oh, for sure. 80% of our immune system lives in the gut, and they call the gut the second brain. So many things are related to our gut. So, feeding it right, our stress so affects our gut. So it's really a very, very important part of our bodies to take care of, to watch the things we eat, when we eat, how we eat, and to add the right supplements in.
Maria, again, folks, it's Maria. It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Maria, there's still so many people that are out there, the sickness, and especially with that certain virus that has taken hold. Are you having people coming in, and what are some of the things that you might recommend?
Yep. So we talked a little bit about that last week. We do have, the hybrid CR, which is great for colds, great for prevention, taking it every day, just one a day. If you're getting on a plane, they recommend taking like 2 of them before you get on the plane, a couple when you're on the plane, and then, afterwards. We have a couple of others that have elderberry, so elderberry syrup. We have cough syrups that are homeopathic. We have cold calm, sinus calm, throat calm, a lot of different things from a company called Boyron. The homeopathics are really nice. And then we do have herbal things too. A lot of people coming in from mullein tea or mullein tincture to help with, the lungs, because the lungs seem to hold on to these viruses longer, and people have these coughs or this congestion that just lasts for weeks and weeks. And some people have found that the mullein helps a lot. If someone has a lot of congestion, one of the herbs that I recommend is pleurisy root. And I tell you, it will pull fluid from the bottom of the lungs, right out. So there are some really good products, one called Respironic, and it does have some pleurisy root in it as well. But the Respironics are really good if there is a cough that just lingers and lingers and lingers.
You are amazing. You're so knowledgeable. Now, what's happening this weekend and happening tomorrow at It's My Health?
Well, just our normal classes. We have a couple of Pilates classes in the morning. We have a yoga class at 10 o'clock. And of course, I'll be here from 9 to 4, talking with people and, helping however I can to guide them with, whatever they're working on.
You are remarkable. Folks, it's the Queen of Health. Pop in and see her at It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. You are the queen. Hello to the luckiest man. Great job, and we'll talk to you next week.
Take care, John. Thank you.
All right, folks, there it is, Marie at It's My Health. She is so enjoyable and delightful to talk to. And again, right now, it is amazing to me. Now, this is the final day of January. So many people, and I see it really on social media postings of people claiming they've been sick since December. Now it's a full month. I was speaking with someone just the other day. He's had a cough for more than 10 days and just can't get rid of this cough. Folks, stop in and see her. And as I have talked about, especially Northern Rhode Island, so fortunate to have a retailer, a business person as knowledgeable and committed as Marie at It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Simply designed, and the entire focus is on getting people healthy. So I'm also seeing, let's see, I believe President Trump is announcing, let's see, tariffs on Mexico and Canada, I believe. So here we go. Let's see. We'll come back to that. I'm just seeing the latest now. How about the DNC? They're having their meeting, and I think it was on MSNBC, and I think I saw that Joe Paolino was there. Now, to me, best of luck to Joe. I don't think he fits in with the new Democrat Party here, but apparently the tariffs. So they're going to implement that. Now, again, White House says Trump tariffs, Canada, Mexico, and China will go into effect Saturday. No word on potential exemptions. So, folks, a lot of this, these types of actions, I think we have to wait and see how it plays out, as opposed to overreacting to things. And you've seen, it's difficult because locally they overreact to a lot. I don't think that locally. I don't think locally they. I don't think locally that they fully vetted out this whole business about, for instance, like the bridge funding. And I do think that is in jeopardy. And what I don't hear verbalized, what I don't hear expressed, I don't hear the sentiment, which is the amount of money that they're talking about, $600 million. That, keep in mind, Mckee and the DOT have blown through $4 billion. So I don't want to see the people of the East Bay, specifically East Providence, I don't want to see them punished. But at the same token, unless someone, takes these people to task, the corruption just continues to run amok. So their idea of, oh no, it's like all legitimate spending, so many times, so much of the work is no bid contracts, and they come out with one bid and then they do a redesign and then they pad it. So, then you start looking at what's the real number? What are we really talking about? Now, looking ahead to next week. So Monday, Coventry Police, I believe they're going to have their press briefing. We're finally going to learn what it was the human remains found when you had all the FBI agents out there. Now, I have some understanding of what it's going to be, but it can wait. I don't feel the need to scoop them. There were a lot of people involved with it. Coventry police have been very receptive to me. So I think I have a pretty good handle on it, but we'll just let that play out. And also next week, this business, something needs to happen where there are members of the Democrat Party that are threatening federal agents, elected officials. And when I mean elected, either members of the city council or they're elected, state reps, and they're threatening that they're going to interfere with any type of ICE action. I just, I was explaining today that person that is being sentenced. Yes, it's true. He does live in Cranston. I was outside the home when they raided the home, and he was put into custody. And they were, huge theft ring of things from Home Depot and the like. But this notion that somehow, God bless me, this notion that somehow that he is a Rhode Island resident that we need to protect at all costs, that makes no sense at all. This is someone who he was deported twice. He's not even supposed to be here. He clearly doesn't respect the United States. He doesn't respect our laws. Folks, it's people like that. They just view us as easy pickings, and they would just go in and they're, robbing all these places. So this notion that somehow that some people like that need to be protected. And I don't understand why people are silent as Sabina Matos continues to just claim, well, he's a Rhode Island citizen. As I was saying earlier, there's no such thing. You're either a Rhode Island resident and ideally a U.S. citizen, but you can't just start making up terms. However, she doesn't even have it right. Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston, she was saying are residents of the city of Boston. Lieutenant Governor Matos, she's going a level higher and calling them Rhode Island citizens. They're not, you don't use the word citizen. They're not citizens. They're just people from other countries who are seeking sanctuary in the state of Rhode Island. Again, top news locally, no school Woonsocket. They let out of school early. Folks, enjoy this weekend. We will be live later. I'm not sure when. If you listen to the radio, stay tuned for the 2 o'clock news.